What's going on, everybody? My name is Terminus, and today we're actually gonna do a little bit something different. We're gonna be looking at some trailers that came out on Anime Japan 2024. Some long-awaited trailers, actually. The first one of which is gonna be ReZero. I did watch ReZero season 1 and 2. Fair warning, right? Fair warning. Unfortunately, can't react to it on my channel. Very much a shame, but also I'm very glad I watched it at the time when it came out. It was really good, and it's still one of my favorite series, especially since I am reading the web novel. If you do want a blind reaction of somebody who has no idea what's going on, this is not what you're looking for. But I am actually a huge fan of the series. I do really look forward to seeing how they animate that, how they choose to present it in the promotional material as well. I'm looking forward to see how they adapt it. I've read all the way up to arc 7 myself. For a little reference for all of the anime onlys, I'm not gonna spoil anything like, oh yeah, this is gonna happen, that is gonna happen. Don't worry about that. There's no spoilers going on. We're just gonna look at frames, animation, how it's presented, what we have at hand here. We are obviously going into visual details. We're going into maybe stuff you can kind of gather from what the trailer is saying. We're not going to go into like deep season analysis and predictions, because obviously I do know what's gonna happen. For the most part, right? I mean, it's been a while, since like 7-8 months since I've been reading arc 6, and arc 6 is not what's gonna come out with season 3, at least not in the beginning, as far as I know. Season 2 was arc 4, so what season 3 is supposed to adapt is two story arcs, arcs 5 and arc 6. And we're going to be looking into what the trailer actually gives us, if there's some cool shots in there, if there's something surprising they're showing, something that I am looking forward to. And then we're going to go a little bit into an analysis mode, not too deep. Like I said, I know what's going to happen, so I'm going to refrain from spoiling anything, but I'd say we would just get into it, right? I'm actually really looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to hopefully getting a release date, because I do not yet know if there is a release date for that. Alright, without any further ado, I got my headphones on. I do have subtitles on. I do believe I have subtitles on, yeah. This trailer starts in a 3, a 2, a 1. Subaru. Oh, okay. Alright, interesting. Immediately interesting, because I know where we're gonna start. Beautiful city. Interesting choice they did, like not having any voice lines. But we see all the characters involved, right? Right, yeah. It's gonna be interesting how people react to that kind of character. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, and now we're kicking enough, of course. Oh, this is looking good. I mean, yeah, it's looking good. Ricardo, my boy. No, yeah. Ooh, oh, I'm looking forward to this. And of course, we're gonna see Regulus. How couldn't we? New characters? Actually, this is pretty nice. I feel like it didn't spoil too much, right? We've seen some characters, of course, but other than that, there's just not that much stuff that's, oh, well, for your convenience, I'm gonna blend out that promotional material that comes at the end of the thing. I don't know if there's any spoilers in there. I mean, not any clear spoilers, but in case you don't want to see any, like, light novel covers or whatever. We're gonna go through this frame by frame, right? We don't have any dialogue, so we can just go in there. We can look at what's presented here, and we can analyze it on just visual basis. Unfortunately, we can't do frame by frame. Can you do frame by frame on YouTube? I don't know. I've never done it, so no idea if you can do it. I think you can do like 0.5 or whatever, but we're just gonna go through and we're gonna stop at the appropriate times. Original work, Nagatsuki. Support the author, by the way. Light novels are amazing. Yen Press, meh translations, but they're good enough. And generally, the writing is very interesting, very quirky at times, but also definitely for me personally, I do know that a lot of people come into ReZero because of the characters, right? Because of all of the intrigue, because of, like, for me, it's also the lore behind, right? Because Tappe actually manages to set up a very interesting and intriguing, mysterious world where we don't know what's going on exactly. We get just piecemeal, piece by piece, we get a little bit of something, what's gonna happen or whatever, and we get a little bit of the world here and there, but slowly and steadily we get revealed what the world is like, right? And what mythology do we have, what's going on there, and then sometimes it's turned on its head because it's like, yeah, this is what the people believe, but maybe there's more to it than that, right? We had that in season 2 with the witches, where we were like, well, wait, I thought there was just, right? I thought they were all dead and whatever, right? And with the archbishops, and then suddenly we had the devil or warlock of melancholy, and we were like, wait, how does that fit in? And we do have little elements that kind of turn things on its head, or Witch of Vanity, which was like one of the 9 deadly sins when they were still 9, and later on, like, in terms of terminology, some I don't know the precise time when this happened, but sometime the Christian church just decided to be like, okay, this is kind of similar. Vanity is kind of similar to right, the other one, so we're gonna kiss, right? We're gonna merge them and be like, all right, whatever. Very interesting how this kind of works sometimes, but I do like that Tappe plays on that he has a lot of little elements and things where you're like, okay, this makes sense, now I know what's happening, right? Anime trope, stereotype, or conventional, like, historical fact, and then suddenly it's turned on its head and he's like, it's not exactly like you might expect it to be. And we have, like I said, a lot of intrigue, right? Emilia Sartella, what's happening here, what, right? Who is Emilia's mother, actually? What's the connection between I'm not sure if I'm supposed to. Now, I mean, it's known at this point. What's the connection between the stars and some of our character names? Subaru is actually I think a star. Is it it's a star cluster, right? I do believe so. I'm not quite sure. And we do have Betelgeuse, which written differently, of course, but also kind of a star. So there is some stuff going on with some of our characters that have these names. Aldebaran, right? Al, the one we saw. We're going to talk about him later. Priscilla's attendant. But yeah, this was one of the things that really drew me in with Tappe, because as much as he has elements that other series have as well, right? A lot of stuff where it's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. I've seen that in an anime before. He has just as much elements that are kind of different, right? That kind of play on that, but are like deviating from the standard MO of what we are seeing. Yeah, I mean, we're starting out on 𝐸𝐻𝐿, which is amazing because I really like her as a character, honestly. In the beginning, I was like, man, I don't know. I'm not like one for like the token lowly character or whatever, but she has kind of like her own history and came into herself in season 2. And I do hope that we kind of see a lot of scenes with her and Subaru in the actual anime. This is just adorable, honestly. This is amazing. This is just a continuation of what we saw like in the end of season 2, where the dam broke, right? And we made our contract, and all of the things came crashing in, and she was, I mean, still kind of herself, but she opened up, and that was a big deal in my opinion for me in terms of like character development and just plot progression in general, because we do have a lot of the characters in season 2 coming into their own, processing what they've been through in life, right? We have it from Subaru to Emilia to 𝐸𝐻𝐿 to even to a degree Roswell. All of them kind of processed their own past. It was almost like a combined chapter of like internal processing, internal emotional development that was going on in season 2, and now we're in season 3, and it looks like stuff is about to go down, right? All of these little figures we've seen, like we've seen Regulus, whatever, they're all gonna play a role, some more, some less, but there's gonna be something in there for all of us. Yeah. It began with what is that? With a sudden visit. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Very interesting how they managed to frame that. We see Rem again, of course, still in her own, and I do know that a lot of you people who have seen season 1 are big fans of her, and I do really hope that we're gonna see something in that regard as well. Because it's very somber whenever we see her on screen, right? We do have Ram, we do have Frederica now as like an official part of the cast. Roswell being on our side, which is a big thing going on. We do have somebody who looks like he is from Julius's line of family. Very interesting. A very interesting design too. Looks younger, has a monocle. Right, what awaited them in the Watergate city of Pristella? Pristella, yeah, I can say it, okay, since the trailer is gonna say it. This is Pristella, the Watergate city, and it is beautiful in design. It's amazing, right? Especially if you look at it from, like, I see the CGI boats and I'm like, but ReZero has always done that, right? Dragon carriages, ground dragons, they've always been kind of like CGI-fied in some of the scenes, and then we focus on what's more important, which in this case is the design of the city. And I do hope that some of the buildings in the front kind of look kind of meh to me. I do hope we're going to rectify this. We're going to actually have some really great shots, because the city is beautiful from the design standards, as you can see here, right? Even with some of the buildings being like and the boat being the boats being CGI, even then you see like there's true beauty in the city. And now we change from like the low poly CGI supported shots into actual animation shots, which is amazing. Do like the angle from which we actually shot this boat passing by. Shows me again that it is very important to always think, it doesn't matter if it's anime or if it's a Hollywood movie, it's very important to actually put yourself into the situation and think, where would the camera be, like where should the camera be looking so the shot is the most interesting for me. And we have all of them being here, right? Garfield and Emilia and 𝐸𝐻𝐿 and Subaru and Otto. And I don't know what they're looking at. Maybe they're looking at the city as they arrive there. various reunions. All right, we have characters that were actually not in the second season, and this is hype, right? We have a lot of the characters that are in the first season, and then second season we have this internalization of the Emilia camp, where we do have a lot of stuff going on here that is very important for our characters, but we haven't seen these since season 1, right? We haven't seen these characters since season 1. Anastasia and Julius, again, like the shot of her like being shrewd and whatever, really really cool. 𝐏𝐢𝐏 with her memory loss now, right? We still don't know what's going on with that, right? We have to see what was there any progress, and if yes, how much, and if not, then what are we gonna do about it? We have Ferris, which favorite favorite character of a lot of people, due to the design probably, and due to other elements, of course. Felt looking very mature, looking very cool with her outfit as well. I do really appreciate the outfit. We have Reinhardt. Wonder, is Reinhardt still with Felt, kinda, right? Or was his job just to find her and present her and that's it? Because he was right? No, never mind. He was supporting her actually, right? He was openly doing that in season 1. Aldebaran, who is should I say this? Small spoilers for the light novel volume 1 to 3, which involves I'm gonna tell you when the spoilers start, which involves actually only the parts where season 1 was adapted. I don't know if we're ever gonna come back to this, but this has been information that we are privy to, or that we as light novel readers, web novel readers, were privy to from a very early time. Subaru states that Al talks in a way that makes it very likely that he actually comes from another world, which is super interesting, right? If you look at like Subaru with the Emilia camp, and for some reason him actually being with another camp of a candidate. But yeah, I do wonder if he's gonna play more of a role here as he's being shown. And then we have Priscilla, of course, the bitch, right? Token bitch. Maybe we get more characterization of her, right? Maybe we get to know her a little bit better and understand why she is the way she is. And even if we still don't appreciate it, maybe there's a little bit more depth to what we can learn about her. A surprise, yeah. New characters, right? New characters. Tell me what you think about the design. It was sure as hell very interesting, but Subaru seems to be in very good spirits here. He seems to be very good at on one wavelength with this character. And we do have the return of like the alley thugs, which I was like, what the fuck? Right? What the fuck is he doing here? Very, very interesting that Mr. Alley Thug is returning here with a new design, right? We didn't have those rose-colored streaks in his hair before that. There's a lot of characters that I actually don't even recognize. Now, obviously, light novel, so you don't know all of the designs or can't really identify them, even if they're on panels. And for light novels, you just have like 10 or 10 to 12 panels anyway of like actual graphics to, and most of the time the main characters and the main supporting casts are on it. But this looks like this is Felt's camp, right? The thugs, which I really like because she's going with her theme. The thugs. She's the outcast, she's the outlaw, and she's like, I'ma fight for the poor people, I'ma fight for the people who are outcast, and I'ma make you all rue the day when you gave me power, which I really like. I love this vibe. Green hair, interesting. Very, very interesting. An old man Rom, right? Romchi. Obviously, Reinhardt, as I said, supporting. That's kind of a goofy shot here, if you look at that. Like, look at that shot. Alright, no, nothing to that. I love the rose color though. Like, it's amazing. I had like a tiny little like fruit fly flying in front of the camera. I hope this didn't get caught or anything. Alright. 𝐏𝐢𝐏 again. I love that we have a lot of outfit changes in here, right? We have this is apparently probably her at her residence, palace, or wherever she's staying when we meet her. 𝐏𝐢𝐏 could be her main camp place, right, where we were before when in season 1. We do have Reinhardt in some kind of a courtyard fighting against Garfield of all people. What the hell? But they look very friendly, right? Like, I mean, Garfield has like a "I'm gonna fight you" approach, but it doesn't look like he's like fighting for his life. And Reinhardt, clearly he is very friendly, although he's always like that, right? He's always candid, he's always like polite and whatever. You never know, right? Reinhardt secretly the bad guy? No. But maybe they came to blows with like the camps between one another. Media not looking all that great here, but her kind of putting her hand on the gem tells me this is about Puck. Subaru looking back, being like, "I feel you. I'm very sorry," which makes sense. We have Wilhelm, which I really appreciate that he's still involved in the story, and some very interesting new looking characters. I mean, if they're shown, they must be involved in the story, right? We'll see how we do on that. They look very much like Garfield and Frederica, don't they? I'm just saying. And we have the shot of Garfield immediately in disbelief. So maybe a lost relative or something. And one destined. And now we zoom out and we actually kick off with the animation and whatever. So we do have our mad-looking Joker kind of deal. This looks like an archbishop, right? The robes. Lots of bandages, so we have a mummy kind of character. 𝐏𝐢𝐏 in her, I do love her like ponytail on the outfit change. Like, oh, she is looking really good in a dress. Like, it's amazing, right? It fits her character to a T. Was always one of my favorite characters, by the way, 𝐏𝐢𝐏. And yeah, we do have cultists, and this is definitely 𝐏𝐢𝐏's thing, hitting one of the cultists. We have Julius going on with his like spirit art knight kind of deal. We do have Wilhelm fighting one of the cultists, which is insane. We do see like the fight animation over here. It looks a little bit low poly, but honestly, it always depends how it will look in the final product, right? We do have decent animation on it, and the choreography makes sense to me, right? Reflecting the sword, getting behind the opponent and clashing with them, and then we zoom in and we have the detail in his face, which is really cool. We have a lot of like hand movements on this character here. The supposed bishop or cultist. Bishop, probably. Like, right? Main antagonist, whatever. And we have Ricardo. Can I get some Ricardo love? all my Ricardo fans out there. Yeah, and this looks like a grand spectacle, right? Like, I'm a player on a stage kind of deal. Very dramatic. And we do have actually Regulus over here with Emilia, so there seems to be some stuff going on, right? Not a good situation, if I might say so, right? It doesn't look very well. And we do have something that looks like gluttony, right? But a little bit different, right? Maybe there's some abilities we actually don't know about gluttony. Yeah, this is crazy. Look at these shots, right? Seems to be fighting with chains and whatnot, and Reinhardt, right in the middle, obviously. I do wonder what they do with Reinhardt, right? I mean, honestly, I know what happens, right? But you do have to wonder what they do with Reinhardt, considering that he is technically a character who could break most of the encounters in ReZero, right? He's in terms of like his power and his capabilities, he's so high up that he could solve most of the conflicts that are happening. So they need to get creative with how they actually apply him being in this situation and being at the place where fighting is happening. Is he gonna solve everything immediately, or is there things that he himself, while he could technically beat somebody easily, right? Antagonists, archbishops, cultists, whatever. Maybe there's problems that he's getting confronted with that in the end are not a simple matter of just defeating the opponent. So I'm really looking forward to this. Super right in the action, and holy shit, he's getting that knee in his back. Oh, apologies. He's getting that knee in his back. That can't be healthy. And his eyes kind of look really, really weird. So weird stuff going on here, right? The red-colored thing that our supposed antagonist is doing here, and his red eyes, same color code. Emilia getting into action is what I really, really love about this shot, because for me, especially first season, right? We see her doing stuff first season here and there, but she's mostly uninvolved whenever Subaru is doing something after the loot house. And we do have her in season 2 being more active in the character department, right? A lot of development going on for her, a lot of like processing, a lot of stuff that or barely any fighting at all. And hers being in action here is really, really cool, and they made that really well. Something's not good for the Archbishop, as far as I can tell. They're making it kind of look like they're fighting, but the Carlos schemes are kind of not matching up for me. I mean, it's still possible this is happening, right? Oh yeah, it's happening. It's happening. So they really did a good job at like contrasting both of those shots. And holy shit, did you get an upgrade here? I'm sorry. I'm just saying, okay? Look. They're giving her service. Okay. Or they're giving the viewer service here. Alright, so we do have this coming in. Ice sword. Holy shit, it looks so cool. It looks so cool, right? Clashing. Bam. And it has weight, right? Like the entire movement has weight, and the camera shake when it's happening. It's really, really cool. We have this confrontation going on, screaming wildly. Looks kind of like, this character looks kind of like a real true madman kind of person, right? In terms of like screaming and just having these facial expressions. So very interesting. So along the line of like what we saw in season 1 with Betelgeuse, we have Phyllis. Once again, blood, interesting, right? What kind of situation that's gonna be. I do wonder if some of these things are actually happening in one location and others in the other locations, or if this is all happening in the same spot now, right? Because we did have everything happening in the same spot when we were like in the sanctuary and shit, but we didn't have everything happening in the same in season 1. We switched scenes every once in a while, so I do wonder if there's different stuff happening here. And this is a new character. Yeah, and just like the other new character that we were talking about, gonna be very interesting how people react to this character design specifically. But what we do see here is very, very unnatural inhuman elements, apparently. I do like the design on like the hip, where it's like almost like flowers coming out, or some kind of like insect, right? Insect wings. We do have that. In addition to that, we do also have the hair being kind of designed in a way to remind you of like antlers or something. The tongue coming out is a weird choice, but yeah. Clearly also not a very I mean, looks pretty wild, this character. We do see an organ in the background. Very interesting setup here, right? And speakers maybe. So is there some kind of speaker technology in this world? Right? We do have lights in a way, right? Well, maybe it's powered by magic, right? I could imagine, maybe. That is a possibility. Regulus again, he definitely is going to play a bigger role, and we do have to focus on Emilia's gem. Gluttony still being a creep. And we do have a sword, which looks like, if you look closely, it looks very much like this person is Priscilla's camp if we go by the color scheme, right? We have the red, we have the golden, right? This person is from Priscilla's camp supposedly, right? Possibly. And this sword looks pretty heavy, right? And we do have like a symbol on the hilt which reminds me of like a half sun. Interesting. Light sun. You could probably make some connections here. Maybe something like a spirit knight like Julius. Julius is a spirit knight who is combining all elements, but maybe light and sun could mean something like what was it? I think it was yin magic, or was it yang magic? I think it was yang magic, right? Which is the positive thing, the buffs, and this is light magic. As opposed to what Subaru does, which is, I think, yang magic, which is dark magic, debuffs, and stuff like that. But it could also be a family crest, right? So, kind of up in the air. We have another shot at Rhyme, and we have actually Gluttony looking like they used to before, right? In like Season 2. Very, very curious here. Shapeshifting? I don't know. And we do have this new character, right? Kind of crying. Again, the Betelgeuse parallels are insane. Interestingly enough, I can't help but pass off the color scheme that we're seeing here and the ears, right? Kind of looks like Emilia, right? We do have purple eyes, we do have silver hair, and we do have the elf ears going on, weirdly enough. Could be some kind of weird magic trick thing going on. Maybe the character here in question is encountering Emilia and is kind of shifting herself to how she looks, or something else, right? Something weird going on. I mean, we had a lot of weird shit going on with Satella and Emilia and whatever, and we were like, okay, how is the relation? And this doesn't look good, right? The hostages, maybe? I don't know. And this is a villain character, right? We see that immediately. This is a villain character, right? Or maybe a very sadistic ally, alright? And we zoom out of Emilia's eye. I love that because we do have a lot of focus on the eyes in ReZero. So this is gonna be, yeah. We do keep the theme, and Subaru is kind of using Beatrice's magic for himself. Emilia adapted a new style, being a fucking knight, a spirit art knight, which is really, really cool. Maybe she kind of peeked at Julius and was like, damn, I gotta start developing some stuff. We're going into the eye. Beatrice's eye this time, interestingly enough. Wow, and I didn't even peek that 10/24, so it's October. It's gonna be October, holy shit. Maybe I can even fit it into a reaction slot, because I would really love to see that, but I don't know if the interest is actually here if I have knowledge of the plot, right? So I do know what's gonna happen, at least a rough draft of what's what's going on. This is definitely going to be a very interesting season, I can tell you that much, especially since we're adapting 2 arcs. I do hope they can do it justice. I heard there's going to be a lot of episodes, so chances are that they can do that. I do hope it's everything alright with the director and whatever. I heard like there was some shifting around on that end. But this is definitely gonna be a very, very interesting season, a very beautiful one in some of the designs, and we see a lot of old characters returning. More chances to get development on all of these characters, right? The new ones that were coming in, the old ones that we get from the other one, from like season 1 and whatever, and also for relationships to change and to deepen and to learn more about each and every one of the characters. If we have 2 arcs ahead of ourselves, that means we get more into the nitty-gritty of all of these interesting characters. There have been so many characters that are not just interesting from their character design, but also people connecting to them, people being like, oh, this is my favorite because of this, or this is my favorite because like personality or design or their backstory or their possible backstory, right? Their approach at things. ReZero is a very, very like likable, has a very likable cast and always had it. Even with Subaru, there's been this love-hate relationship between the audience and Subaru, which is amazing, because if you have a flawed character that you can take and make the audience, at least part of the audience, dislike him in the beginning and being like, dude, stop giving me secondhand cringe, and then you develop him to the degree where he's going past that and actually learning to be humble, right? Because Subaru always had problems with self-esteem, right? He had problems with dealing with himself, understanding himself, being confident, and all of these things. Having problems with confidence is not the same as being humble. Being humble means understanding your strengths and weaknesses, in my opinion. It means understanding your strengths, understanding your weaknesses, accepting them, and putting your strengths forward, but also not bragging with them, right? Being in the state of mind that you know what you can do, you know what you can't do probably, but if it's important, if it's necessary, you're gonna try anyway, right? You're gonna try anyway. And not trying to take this forefront, right? Not putting yourself out to be this hero or whatever, but rather just putting yourself grounded, understanding yourself more. And I think that is what Subaru did in season 2, right? Understanding himself a bit more. He did it in season 1 already, right? We had a lot of huge development, right? Episode 18 was one of the main reasons people were so into REM, and also into like just the general series as a whole, because it was a masterpiece of an episode. Yes, it had some sappy elements as well, right? With the birds and whatever, that was a little bit overdone, but it was a pivotal moment, and it did a good job at reframing Subaru and then characterizing him properly. And season 2 continued that, even though Subaru wasn't even the focus of the entire series, but we had 2 main points that we learned with Subaru, which was the first point being him making peace with his parents and what happened in his past life, and the second being him understanding that, for at least for the people that he's gotten to know and that are his friends and close relationships, that for these people he is worth something, and he should appreciate each and every life that he has. And we learned that in a season that was mainly also focused on a lot of lore exposure, right, with like Echidna and whatever, and Roswell, and Betty, and also a lot of character development with Roswell, Betty, and Emilia at the forefront, right? Core 2 of season 2. But yeah, we managed to develop Subaru as well, so I do wonder which characters we're gonna focus on in this season, right? And what's gonna get developed, right? And what action we're gonna see, what cool elements are gonna be revealed. Looks like we have a bunch of antagonists. 1 or 2 of them might be an Archbishop, because obviously they are. We have Regulus as the Archbishop, for example, as well. Why are they in the city, right? Why the surprise visit? Why is everyone together? That is a lot of stuff that you can kind of ask yourself the questions of. And yeah, maybe a test for the for the throne, or maybe a meeting beforehand where we kind of just clear lines, right? Because a lot has happened in the last 2 seasons, especially in season 1 on like a grand global scheme, and in season 2 on like an inner structure kind of scheme, and also on kind of like because Crush and her memory loss, that is also a big thing that's gonna has happened on that in that regard. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I do hope they're gonna make it right. I hope they're gonna take their time, because let them cook, right? Let them cook. Give them their time. Maybe we're gonna do 2 or 3 cores or whatever, right? We're gonna have pauses in between, so the animators are not gonna be worked to death, okay? And sometimes you just need room to breathe and process everything that's happening, right? But that's been ReZero, the trailer. It's very cool, very cool. If you want to see me react to it, please leave a comment and say it, right? Leave a like on the reaction. I would really appreciate it. Obviously, if there's enough reception, if there's enough people actually wanting to see it, I'm gonna watch shit, right? I'm gonna react to it. If there's not that many people, right? If people are like, I don't know, you're not blind on it, so I'm not all that interested, that's fine, I understand that. I might actually consider doing a side series where I'm doing reviews, right? Just simple reviews, right? We're talking about what happened in the episode, how that's cool, right? And how we can connect that to the grander scheme of things, and then what we can do in terms of psychology as well, a little bit here and there. And what I really liked about animation, right? We can go through it maybe, right, in the player piece by piece and see frame by frame. I want to go frame by frame. Which shots, which angles are cool, which animation pieces are very impressive. If you would like to see that, I would love to do that, because I'm gonna watch this season of ReZero anyway, and I'm looking forward to it a lot. If you would like to see more content of mine, I would really appreciate that. By the way, it's I always love people just reaching out to me, writing in the comments, giving me likes, right? Watching the video and just being interested in general. Then subscribe to the channel, give me a like, check out the Discord, check out the Patreon. But I'll see you on the next reaction.